Yeah. Council kind of dropped, passing an ordinance to require the nonprofit organization to be, required to, obtain a license for, processing fee of $10. And this would ensure that all of our nonprofits in the city would also be in compliance with state and federal regulations. And we were going to have a second hearing on that before enacting that ordinance, and things kind of got dropped along the wayside there.
So, Betty, regarding, we had our first reading, correct?
Actually, you postponed it. You didn't accept the first reading. You postponed it to the next meeting.
So we're behind.
So, we're not at a place where we can even schedule a public hearing yet then. We don't need a public hearing on it. We just need 2 readings on it before we can pass it.
Correct. You do not need a public hearing, a formal public hearing. You just need to bring it before the public so they have the opportunity to know what's going on.
So, do we remember why? I thought we had a first reading and we needed a second reading, but...
The motion was to accept it, and then the motion was amended to, or another motion was made to postpone it to the next meeting.
Okay.
I believe that it was a communication breakdown.
What's that?
60s rock movie.
So, I guess then, maybe what we need to do is just start the process over and bring it to the next workshop. And
Oh, we have to read it. We have to do it. We have to do that in a meeting.
well, we don't even have the...
You've already seen the ordinance.
Yeah. Just need to get
Then
the
it was
ordinance.
postponed because it needed to be amended or needed to be changed?
It was postponed because I asked for it to be a first reading rather than an adoption. And the motion came out as being postponing it to the next meeting rather than accepting it as a first reading at that time.
I guess that's what's confusing. So we did not have a first reading.
We didn't accept it as a first reading after we had it.
Okay.
Technicality.
So my question is then, do we want to bring it forward at the next meeting then as a first reading?
That would be my recommendation.
If we didn't accept the first reading. And do you have that resolution number?
I do.
Okay. So can we
I will send it to you.
2013-1845.
And it's an ordinance, and I'll send it to you.
Ordinance, that's what I meant. Okay. So that we can put it on the agenda for the first reading.
What was the last number? 2013
1845?
1845.
Okay. So are we good with that? Move it forward to the next meeting for the first reading? So we can accept it?
Second, first reading.
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, so now we're back to, we moved item 8 to the bottom of the list, the third-party administrator.
Okay.
We already talked about it.
Yeah, we've got a meeting next week, right?
15th.
Next Wednesday.
Okay. Third-party administrator. On the effective date of the new insurance policy, the City of Pacific is no longer eligible to utilize the service pool provided under the previous insurance company, CIAW, for claims occurring on January 1st, 2013 or later. Services provided include but are not limited to claims investigations, adjusting, notifications, tracking, reporting, etc. 3 companies were referred by the broker for the city, Elizabeth Meiser, Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services. Contact was made with all 3 companies and information received from Washington Oregon Claim Service and Crawford and Company will submit proposal by May 3rd, and actually, we did receive it, so it is attached. I have not heard back from McLaren. I haven't received their information for McLaren. So the information you have is for Washington, Oregon Claims Service, and Crawford and Company. Crawford and Company sent the, quite a bit. They sent the, gosh, I'm having a total brain drain. The slides. And they offer a lot more, services. They basically sent all the services that they can offer, including the trust, handling the trust money. And there are bits and pieces you can choose not to utilize. They have a web service where we can actually view the claims and the process it's in and that kind of thing, via the computers. And that's an additional service that the goal here is to get back to the pool. So we don't have to spend all the money and utilize all the services to achieve the goal here. But there's a lot of reporting requirements. It's not as simple as just choosing whether or not to pay a claim. And it was recommended by the claim, or the insurance company and Liz, that we utilize a third-party administrator to process the claim. So it would come in, there'd have to be a process or a procedure put in place for when a claim, we are notified of a claim, who it goes to, obviously, city clerk, what she does with it as far as her tracking, but notifying the insurance company, and they would handle it completely from there. There'd be constant communication back and forth, of course, but they would make sure that all the regs are met. It's a lot of information to go through, so this is just starting up the conversation, basically.
Well, one of my thoughts is we had formed a committee for this, and I was wondering if we should refer it to the committee for review to bring back a report to council. It was the two different companies and the process.
We're expecting a third, right?
And so when we got the new insurance, we did form a claims committee, correct? Who else on that committee? I know you are.
The city clerk.
And are you on that committee? Okay.
I don't honestly remember who else from council was on it. It was the city clerk, which is a risk management position. Don't remember if finance was on it or not.
It was discussed, but it didn't end up happening.
Okay. Yeah, I think having a committee review professionals for claims administration is much better than trying to have a committee of amateurs run claims administration.
Sure.
This is a degree subject. This is something you get a master's degree in just claims administration. It is a very, one of the kids out there slips and falls off the fountain. How long do you have to report it to the insurance company to have coverage? What do you have to do to minimize the loss? What do you have to do to get them started on treatment without admitting liability? How much no-fault coverage do you have that will get them started in that treatment without triggering a claim? And it differs on each of our policies. Our weather and machinery has different terms than our general property coverage, and they're both completely different from general liability or automotive liability. So certainly having a professional administrator on that is a definite money saver compared to paying our deductible once in a while when we miss something with the sizing. Before, when we had $1,000 deductible and the company picked up the rest, if we messed something up, the pool would get mad at us. So we were out $1,000 plus whatever they said we had, we'll make them whole if you'll chip in this much. Just pay for it to go away. We've done that. But the insurance we have now doesn't do that. It doesn't cover our defense costs. They don't care how much time we spend in court or what it costs us. They'll pay out if we're judged liable.
So, I guess that was one of my questions with, does council want to refer this to committee and bring back a recommendation to council?
Besides Councilmember Putnam, who else? I know that the city clerk was on it, but the city clerk isn't.
Right, yeah.
The situation right now. So we need to have either
I can do that.
Cheryl,
I
representing
have the information.
administration, and then a couple more council members. At
So-
least one more anyway.
Yeah, and I believe I was a part of it as well, that's why.
And I would like to have finance on as well, I think. She's got claims experience and financial experience, so I think.
It affects both of us.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
So, okay. So, and I don't know when, they would be able to meet, because I know that we want to get moving on this. I don't know what your calendar looks like, or staff's calendar looks like. I'm pretty sure you can't be here before 6:30 tomorrow.
No.
And there's a meeting tomorrow at 6:30.
Right. And so, and then, I would be available Friday, or next week.
Don't know for sure if I'll be able to make it here Friday or not. I can check and get back to you tomorrow.
So, or it could be next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Next Tuesday's finance
Finance
committee.
Yeah.
committee, so that wouldn't work.
Unless,
We met after finance
or
committee.
made it part of finance, since finance already has to be a
Could do
finance
that
committee.
too. What do you, Biddy, do you have a lot for the agenda for the finance committee? Could we just kind of add that to the agenda? I'm asking,
It works, whatever you want.
okay, so we'll do that then?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so that will be meeting next Tuesday, 6:30.
Sure. And when I get McLaren's, I'll forward that so that you have time to look that out as well.
Yeah, that should be plenty of time to read through things and come up with any questions.
Cool, good. All right, anything else?